We have started to record the most recent session of SPCH 1113, Introduction to Public Speaking, during the first summer session. The final week is here, session 16 of 19. It is Monday, June 20th, 2022. So with wildcard week here, what I want all of you to do is to reflect on how you have improved in terms of content, delivery, and visuals over the past 5 weeks, with the proviso that the final week, it is your concept as to a wildcard topic, how you're going to put it together. And the speeches we're going to be watching both today and tomorrow, with research being today and topic selection being tomorrow for sessions 16 and 17, you're going to be looking at ideally the best representations of presentations from first summer 2021, spring 2021, fall intersession 2020, fall semester 2020, first summer session 2020, and spring 2020. All of those students were in exactly the same positions as you are now, having the opportunity to choose something that you would really like to discuss. As you're well aware, when you have demonstrative, informative, and persuasive presentations, those are basic templates that I believe are very important for you to follow during your careers after taking this course. But now when it comes to the wild card, your creativity is all that matters. Before we get to wild card speeches, I wanted to remind all of you that when you are using Loom, the first thing that you should all do before considering topics, slides, font, format, slides go, where you're going to place the webcam, ideally in the upper right or upper left-hand portion of the screen, mostly with your face, and then work your slides, text, images, fonts, work them around wherever your webcam is, so no text is going to be obscured. Please make certain that you go back to the previous class sessions where your demonstrative, informative, and persuasive speeches have been viewed, critiqued, and recorded in class for my comments. If you're not going into the slideshow mode, obviously that's going to potentially affect your grade. Go into the slideshow mode, make sure that everything's full screen, work your text images around the webcam, and you're going to see a lot of improvement from the individuals from the previous classes that we've had over the past 2 years, primarily because of the pandemic going to the online virtual form of instruction. We'll talk about all of that, including the self-evaluation speech critiques, in just a moment. As we always do, first and foremost, a reminder, go to Blackboard. Anything that you need to examine is found there. Student preview mode is first. We have already tweaked this for the week of June 20th through the 23rd. Not a requirement to attend live, and how you can view recorded archives. Particularly, take a look at what I am saying about your materials, how you can improve. There are fewer instances of vocalics, drop G's, grammar. Be aware of what you look like on camera with Loom, so you're not touching your face, you're trying to establish and maintain eye contact. Have as much of a professional, poised presentation with eye contact, looking as much as possible to the webcam as you would during a face-to-face course. Not exactly the same, as I told you during an earlier recorded session. If you're in a face-to-face setting, you are at a podium in an interactive classroom, most of the time in Overstreet Hall, room 304, using the, as I call it, oscillating fan analogy, moving your head back and forth around the room. That's not going to be the case if you're on YouTube or Loom, but you try to make it as friendly, as knowledgeable, as personal, as professional as you can. I haven't gone to the instructor information area for quite some time. A reminder that anything that you need to know is also available at my website. I've showed that to you in the past. I'll probably do that again tomorrow. And there is my business card. Some of you have been sending material to my SAU email address, some of you to my Yahoo address, and we'll also get to that in due course. At the syllabus area, the itinerary for the week, making certain that we can arrange this in such a way that all 19 class sessions are on the screen. Today is June 20th, wildcard speech research. Tomorrow, June 21st, wildcard speech topic selection. And then the regular rotation, Wednesday the 22nd, wildcard speech day 1. Thursday the 23rd, the last day of the first summer session, wildcard speech day 2. I'm guessing that you're going to have, from the time that we conclude the course on Thursday, anywhere from 24 to 48 hours to continue to access Blackboard. There's no guarantee that I will have the grades posted at that time, but the university usually cuts off access to Blackboard within 1 day or 2 days after the official last session of any course. So keep that in mind in case you want to watch any videos from Blackboard Collaborate Ultra at Blackboard itself, even though they are available at my website. Continuing on to the course speech schedule, all of you now have been in the regular rotation for quite some time whenever it comes to informative, persuasive, wild card, always exactly 1 week's worth of preparation in between each presentation. But remember what I say at the bottom, quote, "Keep me appraised regularly so I may be of assistance during your respective speech preparation processes. Thanks." That's why at some point today and tomorrow, I will both go to my Yahoo and email addresses for SAU. So everyone knows that I'm checking all of those addresses just in case someone's having an issue sending something to me. Please make certain that you stay in contact. If there is something that's really, really late or you haven't turned anything in, I can't help you because it's important to be fair to everyone who's been here since the first day of the course. Now back to the syllabus. Let's talk at the course syllabus itself about point allocation. I do this frequently, so it just becomes second nature for all of you to access every last element of the syllabus. This week, I will always be here Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday from 12 until 2 live to provide assistance, answer questions, making certain that you can see all different kinds of, in this case for this particular presentation, wildcard ideas and the improvement that all of the individuals that you're going to see now and tomorrow have made, whether it's on Loom or whether it's on YouTube. YouTube is primarily tomorrow, or I should say YouTube presentations primarily will be tomorrow, the platform on which they recorded. Loom presentations on my YouTube channel will be something that I show you exclusively today. 90, 80, 70, the link to my website, the link to my Twitter, and then of course the Yahoo address for all of the projects. The point allocation down here at the bottom, we've gone through this quite a bit. Demonstrative speech, a maximum of 20, as is informative, as is persuasive. Wild card, the same for this week. And then the self-evaluation speech critique. I'll probably, before we get to any presentations tomorrow, do a deep dive into self-evaluation speech critiques. Today is primarily going to be video-based. Class participation, as you're well aware, because I've told you this on more than one occasion, I go to the grade center frequently, and I can tell when I'm posting grades when the last time you logged into Blackboard was. And if you've been doing it on a regular basis, accessing this data, watching the videos, those of you who have done that will receive 10 points without any hesitation. Most of the time, that's also the case for the self-evaluation speech critiques. But as I indicated, that's something we'll be looking at tomorrow. I like to go to the self-evaluation checklist, as you're well aware, on a frequent basis, because with that, as I always call it, triad of content and delivery and visuals, how are you improving in these categories when you're watching all of these videos late at night, the takes that none of us ever see? Whenever you're examining organization, introduction, main supporting points, topic research, fairness, topic analysis, conclusion, when it comes to the content of your speech, the extemporaneous quality, conversational style, eye contact, articulation, enunciation, vocal variety, nonverbal cues, persona for the delivery of your speech. Design consistency, font size, color shading, spelling, grammar, syntax, text image balance, interactivity, storytelling ability, aesthetic appeal when it comes to the visuals of your speech or whatever you're doing for a particular week. Are you being as concise as possible? When you're examining the content, are you trying to make certain that everything is relevant for your topic? The delivery for your topic, do you believe those categories are being reached to the highest capability? And then with the visuals, many of you are bullet point based with text. Some of you are primarily going to be image based with graphics. Some may have interactivity. Some may have a balance of the two. When I see your shining visages on Loom or on YouTube, do you come across as an authoritative, poised, confident speaker with graphics or images or text that are professional, that are arranged in such a way that maximize your overall abilities as a public speaker? You're going to be doing a lot of this outside of this course for your academic or professional careers. Even though you may not necessarily be in media or speech, you have to be an effective communicator. And with that in mind, always remember that at least for this week, you can examine the grades. The persuasive speech grades have been posted. Anything left over for informative or demonstrative, those grades have also been posted. And then with the tools, as you're well aware, you go to Ultra. And if you want to join me this week, we've got courses for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday live within that 12 noon to 2 p.m. window. These are all of the recordings on 2 pages for everything that we've done. Those are sessions 6 through 15. And in the second window, sessions 1 through 5. And speaking of course videos, I say this all the time. As a media person, I believe the best way to improve is to watch yourself. During the pandemic, all professors basically were given the 1 week from spring break in March of 2020 and then another week to prepare Blackboard video courses. So during the course of the pandemic, from March of 2020 until August of 2021, all of my mass communication, mass media, and speech courses, both the beginning and advanced courses, were taught online. Now, I feel comfortable doing that, and I view all of these very similar to what I do in the classroom in an interactive face-to-face circumstance, and view these, as you're well aware, as live television programs. But I also critique myself, watching all of these videos to see if I am an effective communicator. Everything from the lighting to the video to the audio to make certain that no stone is left unturned to maximize your overall professionalism no matter what course I'm teaching. And I hope I'm being effective in practicing what I'm preaching in this course, in trying to have as few vocalics as possible, trying to maintain eye contact, trying to do it in such a way where my articulation and enunciation are clear and concise, or that I, as a professor, come across as authoritative, knowledgeable, authentic with my persona, thoughtful, likable, all of those things that I think many of you are improving as public speakers. That's why I always like to play little bits and pieces of our last video session. And that's what I'm going to be doing right now. This is from Thursday of last week, keeping in mind that there are a couple of additional presentations that are not persuasive, informative, and demonstrated from earlier in the semester from people who were having some interconnectivity issues. Before we get into wildcard speech research, to a great degree watching videos, let's go back with a video highlight summary of Thursday's class session, which was, as you well know, Persuasive Speech Day 2. We have started to record the most recent session of SPCH 1113, Introduction to Public Speaking, for the first summer session. It is Thursday, June 16th, 2022. I thought we got off to a positive start 24 hours ago with the first day of persuasive speeches. There are some things which all of you can work on. First and foremost, when it comes to putting your slides together, always remember that if you are using Loom, your primary consideration is where you are going to place the webcam. Leave it in place and do not move it. That will have an impact on your grade if it continues to bounce around like a ball, because that's taking away from the thrust of your presentation. The other thing is this. I've indicated to some of you, do not send me materials through your cell phone. They don't format exactly the same way.
We'll be talking about they are one of the toughest things to deal with at the job. They are rude and entitled, and they need to open their eyes and see that the world doesn't revolve around them. And people who get tired of waiting on the food is another thing. Usually they're at the window for 3 minutes maximum, but they're hollering at 1 minute.
It's getting taken out of our paychecks monthly. That's barely giving us enough money for food, gas, and bills. The federal minimum wage hasn't risen in almost 13 years, and us workers are paying the price. According to CNN on March 22nd, 2022,
June of 1975 would have the same buying power as $11.45 today, keeping in mind that what we were looking at in the state of Arkansas is that the buying power is not the same. I would really appreciate it, as I indicated a few minutes ago, if you could take everything that you've done so far and send them to me via computer so I'm getting full slides, because it's pretty obvious here you're doing this off of your phone.
Get help. Help is very needed. Like, just go get help. Put yourself first, and don't let anything or anybody stop you from doing it. There's the end of my presentation. Thank you.
So my next slide will be on the rule and the issue of texting and driving. And texting and driving is one of the main rules that's broken almost every single day from the driver's manual. It explains how it is against the law to text and drive.
One of which is in boldface. Breaking the law of texting and driving varies with how bad the case is, which could lead to, I can read that, but I really have to lean in on my monitor. The Grade Center for class participation. You click on the hashtag, go to latest. Everything that I have done during the semester, including trying to help you out with website screenshots of all of the videos that are available, including anything that you do, is right here. Enough of this late night stuff, but it couldn't be helped. Good luck as we enter the final week of the term, and keep in mind, double check your files. If there are any openings and I don't have them, it's going to be listed as a 0. But don't give me everything during the last week. That's unfair to everyone else. Not that anyone would, but just make certain that if there are unique circumstances, you let me know, either to my SAU or Yahoo email accounts. 15 down, 4 to go. The summer goes by very quickly. As for SPCH 1113, Introduction to Public Speaking, during the first summer session of 2022, that concludes the recording session for today. A nice long weekend. We will resume at noon on Monday. Next are going to be examples of wildcard speeches. However, let's go to both my Yahoo and SAU email accounts to let all of you know the information that has been sent so far. I have one leftover persuasive speech that we'll be playing at the end of the day. My SAU email account will be second. Yahoo is first. As of today, and this is what I always do, I'll check my spam to make certain that anything that you send me didn't wind up there, and then I'll go down to this course. Everything that has been sent, including what you see on top, chores from Ms. Wright, that is going to be the last presentation that we watch today that is persuasive. In fact, let me showcase this. I'll put it on the screen and show you what it looks like. But my focus today is wildcard, but I will play this at the end of class. This is the loom that she sent me. Chores should be paid for, which is a persuasive topic. Now we will return to my Yahoo email address. I do all of this during a recorded class session just to let you know that I try to be on top of all of this data. This is everything that has been sent to me. If my name is on the far left, it is because you sent materials to my SAU address and I forward them to Yahoo. Many of these names you'll recognize: Gabriel, Alexis, Skylar, Ellie, Cornisha. Ariuna, I wanted to put this up on the screen to let you know that I do have this data for your persuasive speech, and I put this up for one of our recordings last week, but I still do not have the audio or video that goes with it. On the right-hand side, you can see that her PowerPoint has been sent. This is what she did earlier for depression, and that presentation has already been delivered, but she sent me the PowerPoint that went along with it. At this, all elementary schools should be required to teach a foreign language. I still need for you to go back into your files and send me the video or audio of that. The first email that was sent to me was Scott, and then there are a couple of others down here that were to my SAU address. But many of these names from the left-hand side, videos earlier in the term, are from names with which you can identify. The next thing I'm going to do is to access my SAU account. And Zamori, this is for you. You'll recall Zamori has really done a nice job with her presentation so far. And for some reason, the Loom is not sending. And Zamori, I wanted to put this on the screen from my SAU account just to let you know that I still have not received it. So please make certain that you keep on trying. And whenever I receive it, I'll be more than happy to play it in class. But that's what we are looking at right now from both my Yahoo and SAU email addresses. Because especially, as you know, guys, we get into the last week and things get really hectic. And I don't want any of you to fret. So always check your sent email file, whether it be from your SAU account or whatever other account you're using to send me material. Always check to make certain that you are sending me the link so I can play them in class. Everything that you have sent me, other than the presentation coming up from Ms. Wright at the end of class today that is persuasive, everything that you have sent me has been played in class. And I know there's one of you who are recording off of your cell phone, and maybe that's all you have. I would strongly prefer that it come off a computer, but if the phone is all you have, there's really not a lot you can do about it. That brings us to examples of wildcard presentations from terms gone by. I'm going to leave my commentary to a minimum because I have a lot of speeches that I want to show you with intentionally the closed captioning off. And we're going to go in reverse chronological order. Usually I go to the beginning of the pandemic because so much is recorded on video formats, Loom or YouTube. But in this case, we're going to go intentionally backwards to the last time I taught this course, first summer 2021. At the bottom, you can see that a wildcard speech produced by Essence on creating TikTok videos. I'm guessing virtually all of you or your friends do something on TikTok. But for the uninitiated, something like this was an excellent topic for a wildcard speech because it can literally be anything that you want. What are we going to be looking at today in rapid order? From the spring of 2021, a wildcard speech, getting a head start in your career. From the fall intercession of 2020, get a job at a gym. From the fall semester of 2020, motherboards and big hands. Now, there will be a couple of presentations we see both today and tomorrow that you saw early in the semester, but I think it's important that you see from each of these terms how individuals are putting their final presentations together. Wildcard from 2 years ago, first summer of 2020, making SFX, that would be special effects for television, movies. Then we go back to spring of 2020, and this is how to make great coffee. I believe all of these three were produced by Jocelyn Keller. Whenever you're looking at a wild card, the nice part about the creativity that I mentioned at the outset is that you can literally go in any direction that you wish. Closed captioning off, speech is ready to go, and eventually we will go full screen. This is Essence with Wildcard First Summer 2021. Here we go.
Hello everyone, my name is Essence and today I will be teaching you how to make the perfect TikTok video. TikTok is a family-friendly app. It's a part of social media where everyone can express themselves in different ways through dance, comedy, education, and you can make a video up to 15 seconds to 3 minutes. The first step of TikTok is the dancing. A way to fit in on TikTok is that there's a lot of different dances. So what you want to do, you save a dance that you want to learn. And once you save the dance, you will want to put it in slow-mo so you can learn the steps and then you can eventually make your own video. A cool effect on TikTok that lots of us use is the slow-mo walk effect. And it's when you place your feet together and you move your hips in that outward direction, and it makes you look like you're gliding on air. As seen in this video, you can see that's how it is. So what you will want to do is place your feet together and you will twist just how she's doing. And then the end effect will eventually look like this. The next, and this is my final result. As you can see, I did the effect and we added a little smoke effect, which that can be used, that's optional. The next step of making a perfect TikTok is the transitions. This video is going to show you how I did the easiest transition. As you can see, I picked a song. And once you turn your head to the side, you start recording from that perspective. And as you can see, I just turned my head back the other way. And this is the final result. And that's how you do an easy transition. Here's an example of one of the harder transitions that I like to explore. As you can see, I'm in the car, and this effect shows your phone falling and the phone coming back up, and you're in a different outfit. Or this one, where you go over your head, that's one of my favorites. One of the other things we'll talk about is the visual and the filters. You want to make sure that you have a fun, clear background, something that's not too distracting. As you can see in this picture, this is Bretman Rock. He's very famous on TikTok, and he has his background of Hawaii, which is where he lives. And did you know that TikTok is available in 155 countries, and it's also available in 75 different languages? So as you can see, TikTok is very famous. The last thing is the captions. Wherever you are, whatever your video contains, that's what you want to base your caption on. So for example, if I'm at the beach and I have a video, me doing a dancing video on the beach, I would entitle it Sunny Days and Beach Waves, or something to that effect. Or if you're doing a sport, you will want to give maybe even a basketball lyric from a song, and you want to make sure that it catches the eye of people who will view your video. So once you have your transitions, you have your dance, even the slow-mo walk, and you've played with the filters or the effect, and one effect that's very popular is the zoom in effect, because the zoom in effect makes sure it's more cleaner, and it makes your posture look bigger, like straighter. So the zoom in effect is one of my favorites. And they also have the different effects you can put on your face. You can make your eyes different color. You can there's even a slow-mo where you can make your dance and you can just put it in slow-mo, or you can repeat it. So there's a lot of different ways to do it. And thank you all for watching. And here's a short video of how we have fun with TikTok. As you can see, she did multiple of them. Thank you all for watching.
She put together that presentation essence: brisk pacing, likable, knowledgeable, thoughtful, well-researched, excellent graphics, nice placement of her face within the webcam, breezy pacing. That was all in 5 minutes. At the bottom of the screen, not only do you see her face on Loom, it looks like she's doing it behind some type of a bluish green background, but she also has the timer right next to her. And because she's got the 5-minute countdown in Loom, you did see that when it went from 1 minute down to almost 0, the timer changed color from white to yellow. Nothing that called attention to itself in terms of graphics, vocalics, presence on camera, all really well done. We're going to be going through these in very quick order, but as we go through all of them, keep in mind, they were all in the same shoes that you are. Final presentation. Ideally, it is going to encapsulate the best, wait for it, of the triad: content, delivery, visuals. And you certainly saw that with Essence. Outstanding job. And most of the students that you're going to see did earn an A because of that overall improvement. We next go to spring 2021. That semester, and you've seen Taylor before, she gave a presentation on heartworm in dogs. And in this case, she is discussing getting a head start in your career. How is she, like what you just saw with Essence presentation on creating a TikTok video, how is she improving from one take to another, from one speech to another? Poised, polished, professional. Let's see.
Stories about how people would go through college, complete college for this one career, and then never want to do that career once they've actually worked a day. And I did not want to do this when I started to do my pre-vet. So I got a head start in working at an animal clinic so that I would know what I'm getting myself into. My name's Taylor Ivy. This is my wildcard speech for Introduction to Public Speaking, Spring 2021. I'm going to be talking to you about getting a head start in your career path. So it's not just in veterinary medicine. This applies to any career that you have to go through college to get into, not even just for medical practices, but other things too, like teaching. Maybe you end up not actually liking working with kids and you went through all your teaching and have to change your career path because you don't like it. What this actually does for you with getting experience while you're in school is it allows you to make connections before entering the workforce so that you will have support in what you're doing. You'll know some people so that you can ask them questions if you have any questions. It allows hands-on experience. You can get to know what you're going to do day to day, and you can prepare for the tasks that you have to do. For me, I'll have to put in IV catheters, I'll have to draw blood and everything like that. What I'm working now during school, I'm working at a vet clinic, it has helped me learn how to do all of those things, and in the future it'll be easier for me to continue my education rather than having to relearn or learn for the first time when I'm out of college those basic tasks. It looks really good on applications for jobs when you get out of college and professional schools if you're going to a professional school. And like the example that I used when I first started talking, it allows you to make sure that you like that career before you put all of that time into actually learning about the career and learning how to do that career. And while making connections, you're making friends. To the left right here is Trapper, the orange tabby. To the right is Possum. And of course you get to meet other humans, but in the veterinary field, you get to meet all kinds of pets and cats and dogs. And these are the two sweetest cats I've ever met. And I just wanted to add them in here, saying that it's the best experience to be able to learn your career and get to know what you're going to actually be working with. And I also got to experience taking care of critical care patients where, for example, this is Dax. Dax had a condition where she was unable to move any of her limbs. She for a while she was just stiff. It was like she was always just, all of her muscles were tensed up, and it was horrible. And after about 4 weeks, she was able to walk again. But over that progression, we did physical therapy on her. She got medication daily. We had to spoon feed her because she couldn't get up and get her food. We had to put sub-Q and IV fluids in her because she couldn't get up and drink very well at all at first, but not very well after she got a little bit better. But this is Phoebe, one of the clinic cats, actually being very cute, cuddling with Dax. And Dax is so sweet. This was about 2 weeks after she
What are
came in.
you doing?
What you doing, Phoebes? Phoebe.
I got to do a lot of her physical therapy and see the progression of it. And that's when I knew that I was dedicated to this field and I really want to work with animals and help them get better. To get your foot in the door, I started asking my local clinics if I could work with them when I was 16 years old. And a lot of clinics don't want to hire anyone below 18 years old. That's how the one that I'm working here in Magnolia is. But the one I worked with at home, which is Westridge Animal Center, is they actually hired me when I was 18 years old, or 17 years old, excuse me, when I was a senior in high school. To get that job at Westridge, I had to ask the doctors several times. At first, they told me that they had enough help. That was the summer before my junior year. I wanted to work after school, 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock to do kennels, and they told me that they can't do that because they have enough help. But that next summer, before my senior year, I asked them if I could shadow rather than applying for a job. And while I was shadowing, I actually did end up applying for the job again. And they decided to hire me because they seen how much I wanted to work in that career field. And they were pretty much teaching me while I was shadowing too. So it was a win-win for both the clinic and I. That is how I got into it. But the things that I've gained from that, I was able to list my hours of working at that clinic on the scholarship applications that mentioned that I wanted to be a pre-vet major, so that they would know that I wanted to go into that career. Because if you say that you haven't been to a clinic, shadowed at a clinic or anything, they'll go, maybe we don't want to give her money because she might not actually want to do that, and they'll be on the edge of not wanting to. But if they know that you have had experience, they're going to be like, oh, she knows what she's getting into. Let's give her money to support her. I was also able to make connections here in Magnolia to get a job at Eastridge Animal Hospital. And I got good references because the two doctors actually know each other, and I just have a really good boss over there at Westridge, and she helped me get in. And I actually shadowed for a few weeks over here, and he agreed with her that I was a good fit for the job, and that's how I got over here. It has extremely helped me decide that I want to go on to be a vet. And here's another example of getting to meet sweet dogs and, of course, people, but I love meeting the animals and making connections. This is Coco. She's the sweetest little thing.
Good girl. What are you doing?
Thank you for listening to my speech. This is my wildcard speech for Introduction to Public Speaking, Spring 2021. Thank you.
What we have seen here from Taylor and previously from Essence are individuals who have practiced so much that they have an ease of speaking into the webcam that just didn't happen. It's through all of the practice. That's why, ideally, with the wild card topic being something that you feel comfortable discussing, and with all of the practice that you put into the delivery and what you are doing with your storytelling ability, with the slides, with the text. In this case, on 2 different occasions, Taylor incorporated interactivity with video from her cell phone. If you want to do that, it's acceptable. It's a nice personal touch, but whatever works for you. And if the speeches are a little bit long, and some of them will be, Essence was on the 5-minute timer. Here we've got Taylor moving closer to 8 minutes, but still they don't drag. It all depends upon what your personal preference is, which brings us to the fall intercession of 2020. And Finley is going to be next. Get a job at a gym. She is from the Dallas-Fort Worth area. She's going to be discussing that particular topic, what it is like to work at a gym. And for some reason, and I'm not sure why, on some occasions, you will have, if you look at the bottom of the screen, chapters for YouTube videos. It doesn't happen on all of them, but it is nice to look at, where we've got why I work at the gym, motivation to work out, free membership, work with friendly people. You get the idea. But the closed captioning will be off. Chapters are on for some, not for others. Don't let the time fool you. As I said, we can have some speeches as long as 10 minutes in this course, as long as they don't drag. As with our first 2 presenters, pay close attention to Finley's eye contact, her conversational structure, and the creativity of her slides. Finley was one of the first people to utilize Slides Go for her template on either Google Slides or on Microsoft PowerPoint. There's her timer. Here we go.
Hello everybody, my name is Finley Blair, and today I will be talking to you guys about why I believe you should work at the gym. So first I'll start with talking about why I work at the gym. So currently I work at 2 gyms. I work at Cowboys Fit in Frisco, and I also work at Frisco Athletic Center. I live in Texas, and so those gyms are both in Texas. So and they're Texas based and everything. So you probably don't know what those gyms are unless you live in Texas. But I love working there. I first got a job at the gym because I have a really active family. And so I knew I wanted to work somewhere active. Like I didn't want to work somewhere where I would just like be around food all the time, because I love food. And if I'm around food, I'm going to eat it. So I didn't want to work somewhere where I would just be tempted to eat food all the time. And also I hate doing laundry. I hate it with all my heart. So I did not want to work in retail. I did not want to have to fold clothes or work anywhere where I'd have to put clothes on the hanger, clean up clothes, put clothes back, check out clothes. I just really did not enjoy doing that. So I knew I wanted to work someplace active. So I applied at a lot of different places. I applied the 2 places that I work now. I had applied at this Pilates place, this bar place, this rowing place, cycle bar, a bunch of different workout places, and then I ended up getting a job at Cowboys Fit a little over a year ago, and then recently I got a job at Frisco Athletic Center. And so I believe that it's great to work at a gym because it gives you motivation to work out. Literally, a gym's sole purpose is to get people to work out, to motivate you to work out. And working at a gym, you become close with all different kind of people who are really focused on being active and basically building themselves up and creating the best body for themselves. Not, I guess, to look a certain way, but just like feel good. And basically that. So there's trainers in there. The managers are very gym focused, very active focus, and there are members that you become really close with because you see them every day. They come in all the time, same time every day, and you are able to form a personal relationship with them, and then they become invested in you and your life and what they're doing, and they become invested in kind of your fitness journey too, and they will motivate you. If you are nervous, if you are intimidated by the gym, they will motivate you to get up, get in there, and work hard, work your butt off, and it just makes you feel good because you have this big support system behind you. Another reason it's a great idea to work at the gym is because you get a free membership, which is awesome because one of the gyms I work at is like almost over $100 a month, and that's expensive. And if I was not working there, I would not be able to afford that. So working at the gym provides its perks because you get a free membership, which just completely eliminates one of the obstacles there is from joining to join a gym because we're college students, and so for if you're like me, you do not have a bunch of funds. You don't have the money to be spending almost $100 at the gym. So if you work at the gym, you get a free membership. So you can just go in there, work out for free, use all the machines, all the classes, everything for free, which is great. Another thing that is great about working in the gym is you work with really friendly people. Usually people that go to the gym, they are just like high on dopamine, high on endorphins, and um, actually, dopamine is basically working out gives you the same high that an opioid would give you, but you're not taking a drug. And so everyone's usually super friendly, super just like happy on a high as they're in the gym. So you get to work with really friendly people all the time, and they're super happy, super nice, and everything like that. The only thing is, there are unfriendly people in the gym sometimes. Obviously, working in customer service, you are going to come across some people who are not very nice. For the most part, those people that are friendly are make the whole experience worth it. In addition, you get to form relationships with a lot of different types of people. There are so many different people that come into the gym every single day, different backgrounds, different stories, different ages, everything. And so you get to hear their stories and kind of just learn more about life and life experience and other people's experiences. And it gives you a broader perspective on life, and it kind of opens your mind up so you're not so like tunnel vision and you're not so self-involved. You get to see other people from where they are, which is nice, and how they think, which I think is so rewarding all the time. Also, you get to put a smile on people's faces. I work at both my gyms. I work as a customer service representative, which basically I just help people with their memberships. I answer questions. I tell them what supplements we have, what things we have to offer, kind of basically giving them the rundown, but also help them as well. And then I check people in. So when they come in, I'll be like, hey, welcome to Cowboys Fit, or by First Athletic Center, whichever one it is, and just like be super energized and kind of in my job basically as like the first face that people see as they're walking into the gym is to make them feel comfortable, make them feel welcome, and things like that. And so seeing people walk into the gym and maybe they don't have a smile on their face, or just like in their own zone, and kind of being able to like greet them and talk to them and kind of put a smile on their face is also very rewarding. And one of my goals every time I see someone come into the gym is, if they are upset or they are unhappy, my goal is just to kind of have them change their attitude, and then when they walk out of the gym have a completely different face than they came in with. Another thing that is a benefit of working at the gym is helping people solve problems. I'm a big problem solver. I love solving people's problems. A lot of my friends hate it because they'll like tell me something and I will listen, and then immediately I want to solve it because I feel just like a rush of like dopamine after helping someone solve a problem. And sometimes people don't want help solving their problem, they just want to be listened to, which I completely understand. But at the gym, your job is literally to help solve people's problems. So let's say they have a billing issue, or they have a question, or they don't know, they locked themselves out of their locker. You constantly are helping people solve their problems, like little issues that are easy to solve or just like very like quick. Like you see instant gratification right after you solve that problem, which is really nice and really rewarding. And I love that feeling of being able to help other people and help people solve their problems. In addition to working at the gym, you also find workout buddies. Everyone in there is working out, the people you work with, the people you're around, the people you talk to. And so it's really easy to find workout buddies in the gym if you don't like working out by yourself, or let's say you like working out by yourself, but let's say there's something you don't know how to do or aren't super comfortable doing. You can do it with a workout buddy, and you kind of gain more confidence doing that, and then you will be more confident the next time going in to do that thing by yourself. And also, you learn different workouts, different things that you can do to stay fit, stay active, which is really fun. And honestly, I feel like it's super rewarding, and I think that if you are thinking about a job and you don't have one, you should definitely work at the gym. The last thing I will be talking about is bettering your communication skills. So, as a customer service representative, you have to speak to people. That's like a big part of the job. You must speak to people. A lot of times, you will have to de-escalate situations. When I first started working at the gym, I was very shy. I did not like confrontation. I was not comfortable with people yelling in my face, being frustrated with me. I'm very like shy and just like timid, so I'm not really comfortable with that. And talking to people, raising my voice, and we also have policies in the gym, so kind of enforcing our policies as well. I was not very comfortable with that, but from working at the gym for a while now, I've become much more comfortable doing that and much more comfortable kind of standing up for myself in other situations too. So from working at the gym, I have become comfortable in other parts of my life, kind of not being so afraid of confrontation, not being so scared to kind of stand up for myself, speak up for myself, and things like that. And that's solely from working at the gym because I'm forced to do that every single day. I'm forced to talk to my coworkers, managers, ask questions, people in other departments, talk to members, mean members, nice members, members who I don't get to see face to face, members on the phone. So having worked at the gym for the amount of time that I have has allowed me to completely better my communication skills, which I think is extremely rewarding. So all of these reasons kind of lead me to my final point, which is if you do not have a job, I think it would be a perfect job to work at the gym. I think that's the absolute most perfect job ever because it keeps you active. It's a super fun, motivating environment, and you can never go wrong.
What you have seen so far are three excellent examples of visual storytellers. Essence with TikTok, Taylor with getting a head start on a job. In this case, Finley with a smile there at the end for getting a job at a gym. Now let's look at that last quote. I am a very shy person, but from working at the gym, I have learned to come out of my shell more and become more outgoing and comfortable to people. And you can see that with the way that she presents herself on the webcam. Nothing is perfect in life. I look at this a year and a half after the fact, even though now Finley is now off to graduate school, mass communication graduate in May, graduate school, Texas A&M University, majoring in public service, and I wish that I could give her a ring light in the same way that I work from one and many of you have them, but we all work with what we have. But excellent job. Close to 10 minutes, but most importantly, as you're well aware from these presentations, and I'll come back on camera for this, I don't care if your speeches are long. Just make sure that they don't drag. And you've seen a couple of longer speeches so far. Speaking about storytellers, we're coming up to another excellent storyteller here. We watched this presentation during the first week of class, but I want to show it to you one more time. Like with Taylor Ivy, you're going to see cell phone video incorporated into a slide. This is Merrick Barrett, fall semester of 2020. Keep in mind that the fall intersession of 2020 that we just saw with Finley was during the month of December only. This is earlier chronologically, fall 2020, wildcard speech titled Motherboards and Big Hands.
Hi there, my name is Merrick Barrett, and this is my wildcard presentation on motherboards and big hands. So a little bit of backstory going into this. Over about 2 weeks ago, my main computer that I use for both school as well as my job gave up the ghost, and I needed to replace it. So, went on the internet, just going to buy a computer, connect it to all my old stuff, call it a day. But my frugal nature would not allow that, and I didn't quite realize my mistake until the delivery man was handing me my box of computer parts, and I went, oh right, this is going to be unfun. My career is actually in IT. I have messed around with electronics since I've been a kid. I built my own computer when I was young. I'm no stranger to the business, but I keep forgetting every time that I have to build my own computer about how much I actually don't like building my own computer. So first I'll give you a little bit of an idea on what the motherboard is, kind of what it consists of and everything, and then we'll go into the meat of the issue. So first up, we have the CPU bracket. This particular bracket is an Intel design. There's another manufacturer who makes CPUs. They're called AMD. They're effectively the same at the end of the day, probably. It's just how they look. So you have to have separate parts to match the correct parts, that type of deal. The CPUs are held in by this retention system. On the left, it's fully closed. On the middle one, the bracket is slightly raised, and you can see how the fangs at the bottom that hold onto this little clamp are let off, and on the right, it's completely undone. You actually have to put a lot of pressure on these rods to get it to fully lock into place, unlock. So what you got to do is you have to line up the golden triangles, which you can see pretty easily on the right picture at the bottom left of the CPU there, with the triangle of whatever motherboard you're using. A lot of manufacturers put their own golden triangle. They'll put silver ones. This particular one used the silver one. Some use white ones. Usually they make it pretty obvious of saying, hey, this is the correct orientation. Please don't put your CPU in backwards or sideways. I've heard of the horror stories of people who accidentally do it and they force that retention arm down. And it requires a lot of force. So you don't notice that it's requiring more force than usual, that type of deal. It's not a good scene. You always want to make sure it's the right orientation, basically. The next up is we have RAM. It's effectively these little circuit boards right here that have notches, there we go, in them that you just need to line up correctly. When I first started building, I was maybe, I think 14 if I remember right, and I was so dainty and careful with every single piece as I was doing it because I didn't want to snap anything. I thought, you know, I'm effectively working with incredibly expensive Legos. You know, yeah, it all goes together in one place, but I don't want to be too hard on it. But you have to put a lot of force, kind of like the CPU. You have to put a lot of force, so much so that you'll hear an audible snapping sound whenever you have it incorrectly. The little retention rods, or arms rather, will close and lock in, and they have a snap to them. It was a spooky process, and I have a little video here that'll play, hopefully. Yeah, they make an audible pop sound, and that's basically letting you know, hey, I'm in tight and snug, thanks. The very first time I did it, I didn't push in hard enough, and my computer wouldn't boot, and I thought, you know, oh, what did I do to break it? And as it turns out, I just didn't push the RAM in hard enough, so that's one of the big things. Oh, there we go, sorry. So next up, you need to put some thermal paste on your CPU. CPUs can get really, really hot, upwards in the range of like about 80 degrees Celsius. They get real hot, so they need something to help cool them down. In this particular case on the right, there's the cooler that is then placed and clamped on top. The amount of thermal paste is debated by many. However, the idea is that you want about 1 cooked-ish, maybe 2, grains of rice. That's about how much you want. I go for the, yeah, that's about a rice-ish on mine, and then try to get it off the little stick so that way it doesn't drip everywhere, because thermal paste doesn't get off your body very easily. Once it's on there, you don't need to do any spreading. The cooler itself will actually do almost all the spreading for you, because you'll be pushing it down and then you'll be applying force, you know, whatever its bracket system is, which will spread it evenly for you. So you don't even need to do the hard part, really. So there it is, completely built. We've got our RAM sticks in, we've got our CPU in. There's an M.2 there, but that's neither here nor there. But there you go. The hard part is done, effectively, at this point. Which now leads me to the one that I built over the weekend. This is the one I did for myself personally. And it kind of looks the same. There's extra parts there. There's a graphics card there and a power supply unit. But you know, you'd have to apply those to almost anything. Well, sans the graphics card. The cooler's bigger here, but effectively, at this point, it's all plug and play. I'm just putting it into the case, tightening it down to the case, putting the power supply, all the connectors to where they need to go, and we're good to go, right? Wrong. I've got these huge bear paws. So getting to the top left motherboard connector, the CPU connector, is the worst. It is terrible because it is such a small, cramped space. I can't see effectively. And I can't undo this cooler that I have because the mounting hardware is underneath everything. So I have to have it all done effectively beforehand, and then I have to do it. It is it's a massive pain. It is frustrating how much I don't like it because this is literally my job. But we make do. We bear it up, right? The fan also had a very similar design where I had to remove the fan and I had to tighten it down. It was a pain. I can't express that enough. And that is where the idea where technology is getting smaller and smaller and smaller with my hands that don't seem to be getting smaller and smaller and smaller. It's been a hassle. But it works first time. Very, very thankful. And I'm rendering it actually on it right now. So anyways, thank you. Have a wonderful night and have an even better.
And that is the end of his presentation. Many of you, like Mark, are going to feel more comfortable, in his case, primarily with visuals, photos that he took of his computer, any type of cell phone video similar to Taylor with the animals, in this case, where you can hear the snap of that element going into the computer of the motherboard. And the self-deprecating sense of humor, don't let that go, because Mark does a really good job of identifying with the audience and especially holding up his hand and making fun of it. Like with our previous presenter, Finley Blair, I wish he had access to some type of ring light, but the way that he had his computer set up, as he indicated in a previous speech, I think it was his demonstrative speech that I showed you in class, he couldn't move it. So depending upon the time of day, there would be some sunlight coming in, even if he had the blinds drawn. Even so, excellent job, well researched, quality storytelling, and ease in front of the camera. And that just doesn't happen, as you're well aware. The more you practice, the more polished you will appear. It's not easy, but we can all get there. Which brings us now back 2 years. This is a wild card speech from first summer 2020. This is Sharissa, and she is talking about special effects. Very much a demonstrative based wild card, but acceptable. And we will show this next. Oftentimes, as you can see with the wild cards, they may be a little bit longer, but they really do not drag very much, if at all. Making special effects from Sharissa. Here we go.
Hello, my name is Sharissa Oliveris, and before I get my presentation started, I would like to say that I am 100% okay. My presentation is on making special effects. Special effects started in the mid-1920s by a man named Lon Chaney, who decided to make his own personalized look for his roles in The Phantom of the Opera, The Hunchback in Notre Dame, and other such plays. It was not very popular until the 1930s, where monster films started becoming extremely popular. Nowadays, you can see special effects used in movies, plays, Halloween costumes, and cosplay outfits. For your materials, you will need a red ink pen. I do not need it. and I threw it out last take. But you will need it if you want to make an outline of where you want to make your wounds first. You also need fake blood. If you do not have any actual fake blood from the store, you can use food coloring or a drink enhancement. You will need glue or the professional fake skin latex, wax, or other. You will need 2 toothpicks, one for glue and one for blood. A mirror if you are working with your face, and makeup powder, specifically a pink one or one that is more yellowish than your skin. For the application of a wound, first, before you get anything started, put your hair up. You do not want to get your hair in the way of your glue or fake blood, as it will mess up the effect, or it will just make your hair sticky or mal-colored. Once you put your hair up and away from your face, what you want to do is make a line of where you're going to have your wound. I am running out of wound space, so I will be making my wound right around here. Once you make your outline, you want to take your powder. Depending on what kind of wound you want to make, old or new, you grab that color. If you're making an old one, you will take the yellowish. If you want a new one, you will take the pinkish. I will be using an older wound. And what you do, where you outlined, if you outlined, you add the powder. It gives the base illusion of being old skin, or skin that had to grow back. Once you get that out of the way, you take your glue or your fake skin, depending on what you are using, and take it off of the stick. Once you get it off of your glue stick, make sure that you have a generous amount. If you have for a big wound, you're going to need more than this. If it's a small wound, this should be enough. Take the glue off of the stick and apply it to where your wound is going to be at, smudging as you go. The smudging is so that it can, 1, dry faster, and 2, look as closely as possible to skin. If you don't use enough glue, that is okay. You can always go back and get more glue in this step. If you are satisfied with how much glue you have and where you put it, take your glue stick one more time and draw a line right down the middle of it. The next part is the fun part. Fan it a little. This helps it dry a little bit faster. Once you have fanned it, take your fake blood. If you want a fresher wound, use a darker colored blood or more of your drink enhancer. You get your toothpick for your fake blood, get a generous amount of fake blood on it, and make a line right through the line where your wound is at. This should give the illusion of either bleeding or having been bleeding. If you want to fan one more time, that is okay. No one is stopping you from fanning your wound. If you are making an old wound, you are going to need your powder one more time. You grab the paler color and you apply it to the wound to make it look old. and therefore not as grotesque as the new ones. It takes a bit for glue to dry. As you can see in the picture there, I have some purple still left over from the glue I was using. This is okay. It is normal. It takes a little bit for glue to dry. If you are not a patient person, you can use a blow dryer if you prefer. Or, if it was too much glue and it's not drying fast enough, you can take off all the glue that remains. And feel free to experiment. It does no harm if it's not perfect either. Bruising is harder than making scars, I believe, because it requires more coloring, especially on a pale person such as I. If you want to make the effect of a bleeding nose, you are going to need your fake blood, dip it in there, run it around the rim of your nose, put it inside your nose a little bit, just a little bit, and start making a path where the blood was running. If you want to make it look like you've had it a while, smudge it by wiping your nose. And that is all I have for this presentation. I hope this helps you for your next costume. And have a great day.
And that's the end of our presentation with a smile to the webcam. What you've seen from all of these individuals so far, their personalities come shining through. And a wild card speech can be a little bit demonstrative or informative, possibly persuasive, a little bit of each. What you just saw from Sharissa is primarily a hybrid of demonstrating and informing. And the last presentation you're going to see is the same, a little bit of demonstrating, a little bit of informing, but whatever you feel most comfortable talking about. The storytelling ability certainly comes through, the likability comes through, and her lighting is just perfect. And you really need quality lighting for the way in which she is talking about special effects and doing it with a breezy pacing. No real problems with smoothness or any breaks in thought, which shows me that you've practiced. And again, that ease, just looking into the camera and talking, that makes all the difference in the world. And as I said at the beginning of class today, even though many of you are not going to be involved in the mass media or in public speaking as a vocation, you have to be an effective communicator no matter what line of endeavor you're going to be involved with. And I think all of these folks are excellent representations of what a quality public speaker can be like at the end of this course, whether it be from me or anyone else. Which brings us in reverse chronological order to our final YouTube channel. Wildcard speech of the day, all of which were recorded on Loom and then uploaded to my YouTube channel. A face that you've seen before. This is Jocelyn Keller. You saw her informative speech on homeschooling. You saw her persuasive speech on procrastination. She still is experimenting with a larger image with her webcam on Loom. She's going square, but you can still see her slides on the right-hand side. So if any of you want to be in a position where you want to experiment with a larger image from the webcam, feel free to do so. And I have a great deal of respect and gratitude for Jocelyn. As you know, I told you she was the first person, this was during the pandemic, in late March, April, May of 2020, during the end of the spring semester, our original Monday night class, and we're scrambling to try to get all of this done in a fashion that's going to be as professional as possible. And she really did an outstanding job being an innovator by using Loom. So if you want to be an innovator and experiment with a larger image and then make your slides smaller, that's acceptable. And if you're a coffee drinker, and I promise I am currently drinking coffee right now during class, how to make great coffee. This is going to be our final presentation of the day. You'll recall with Finley Blair and getting a job at a gym, sometimes YouTube, it doesn't happen with all of the presentations on my YouTube channel. It will show you the different chapters, and I'm not sure how that works. I'm sure it's artificial intelligence and algorithms, but this is our final wildcard speech of today for research. And after this, we will play a leftover persuasive speech sent to me at the end of the week. This is Jocelyn and How to Make Great Coffee. Here we go.
Hello everyone, my name is Jocelyn Keller, and today I'm presenting my wildcard speech on how to make great coffee. First of all, to start, one needs to determine the means by which this great coffee will be made. Most commonly used is definitely the coffee maker, but for my coffee connoisseurs, it's more likely to find a French press, a coffee dripper, or even a percolator. Before beginning, you need to make sure your appliances are clean. Your coffee appliances are much dirtier than you think. Public health protectors, NSF International, say not only is it more likely that your coffee pot has more germs than your bathroom door handle and toilet seat, the coffee pot could also have coliform bacteria. Not cleaning your appliances also leaves old coffee residue and coffee grounds in the pot, which totally mars your fresh coffee taste. Washing every appliance with hot water and vinegar at least once weekly is sufficient. And the most important step for making your coffee is choosing your bean. It is preferable to use whole beans, grinding them right before you use them, and grinding only as much as you need, because the beans, after being ground, once they have contact with oxygen, they start to go stale within 5 minutes. The ideal amount of coffee to grind is 1 cup's worth, or 7.5 grams. If you don't use it immediately, you can store it, but it is sometimes difficult and doesn't work perfectly. You can store it in a sealed container away from sunlight, but do not freeze it and do not put it in the fridge. That will totally dry it out and make it quite unpleasant. The roast degree is important as well. If you want to taste all of the coffee's flavors, then you should go for a lighter roast. If you liked the burnt taste, then a dark roast is great for you. The flavors of beans vary by region, as demonstrated in this photo, which labels Brazilian coffee as peanut-like flavor with hints of chocolate or spices, and Colombian coffee as sweet, chocolatey, or buttery flavor. Ethiopian coffee is chocolatey, spicy, and full of citrus flavors, while Mexican coffee is fruity and cocoa-like. Peruvian coffee has a strong caramel sweetness, and Indonesian coffee has a dark and earthy flavor. Indian coffee is mainly chocolatey, and Guatemalan coffee has a fruity, balanced, and nutty taste. Honduran coffee, our last one, is fruity with hints of cocoa. The next step for your great coffee is water preparation. Spring water is definitely the best, but lightly filtered water is good as well. Unfiltered water is not so great. It can cause weaker coffee, but having completely over-filtered distilled water can lead to over-extraction. The National Coffee Association recommends using filtered or bottled water and staying away from distilled or softened water. The temperature of the water needs to be between 195 and 205 degrees Fahrenheit. And if you exceed 205 degrees Fahrenheit, your coffee is very likely to burn. If using a coffee machine, the filtered water needs to be poured cold inside, as hot water can damage it. The process of brewing. It is good to note that coffee loses its flavor as it sits around. While that old pot of coffee is still drinkable, it definitely will not taste as good as it does fresh out of the pot. If your coffee maker has a built-in warmer, you need to keep the latter advice in mind, but also know that keeping it heated after making usually turns it more bitter. If you use a manual brewing appliance, you should be steeping your coffee for 3 to 5 minutes, depending on how you prefer your coffee, like if you like it stronger or more caffeinated. And the final step, the serving of the coffee. The most popular ways to serve coffee are black with no additives, with milk, cream, or sugar, or all three, with artificial sweeteners, as a mixer with alcohol, or with flavored creamer. And that is the end of my speech.
So that's the end of her presentation. And pay very close attention, guys, to the way that she has this set up. She's a little bit blurry. So let me go back just a little bit. We'll play this in real time with the audio down. Look at the way that she's got her webcam set up. I talked about this before we started the presentation. On the far left-hand side, with the webcam, she's got the option of video, photo, or square. She decided to go square with her slides being smaller. If you've got a large enough font style for your headlines and you're doing bullet points, let's go back a little bit earlier. I like the fact that the artificial intelligence is letting us know at the bottom the chapters for this. Keep in mind that still she's got design consistency, clean your appliances, choose your bean. Let's start at the beginning so we're consistent here. Beginning of her speech with the chapters, title slide, easily readable even with the square webcam. Determine your method with 4 images and 4 bullet points. Clean your appliances with bullet points. Choose your bean with all different kinds of information to keep you extemporaneous and conversational, as everyone has been. And as you can see, she spends a lot of time on choose your bean. Next chapter is prepare your water, 4 bullet points. Brewing, 3 bullet points. And then how to serve the coffee. Now let's pause it right there. She's 14 seconds before the end of her presentation. She's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. She's got 9 different visuals on that one image. She can take as much or as little time as possible talking about latte, Americano, espresso, or any of the other 9, or any of the 5 bullet points where it comes to serving the coffee. So if you want to experiment with having a larger webcam, in this case the square, other than photo or video, that's certainly acceptable. With that in mind, if any of you want to go back in addition to the Blackboard video of today's session on Collaborate Ultra, here's what you do. Just go to my YouTube channel and you can find all of these presentations. At this point, scroll down to broadcast and speech projects, and then you just scroll down until you find spring 2020. And here is where the Loom speeches begin. All of these are Jocelyn from spring 2020, including making great coffee. All different kinds of videos are here, and this does not include what's available on Google Drive, which I have uploaded to my website, and that's what we're going to be looking at tomorrow. Today is officially listed as wildcard speech research. However, I always try to make certain in case anyone had an issue, which is why I showed you both my SAU and Yahoo email addresses earlier. I want to include on the record all videos. And this one is from Ms. Wright that I showed you at the beginning of class. Her persuasive speech, chores should be paid for. And we're going to play that next. And while this is playing, I will check my email addresses to see whether or not anything else has been sent to me during class. But after this, we'll examine her presentation and set up what's going to be taking place tomorrow. Here we go. Let's make certain that their closed captioning is off.
My name is Anara Wright, and I'm doing my PowerPoint today on chores should be paid for. I think chores should be paid for because nowadays kids don't want to do chores. Me, I do not like doing chores, but I know most kids don't like doing chores. But if parents be like, I give you an allowance like every 2 weeks, then that's gonna make the kids want to do the chores for their allowance. Everybody want an allowance. So this is my topic for today. Chore money versus life. Receiving money from doing chores teaches your independence. A lot of us grow up without any money to start life with. It's a good start first. I made that point because doing chores and getting an allowance can start you how to be more independent, not be in a bind, not be broke. What else can help you do? Especially for the younger ones, giving them an allowance, they can start them a piggy bank, start them a bank account. Not only does it teach us how to feel to make money, but it teaches you responsibilities. It teaches how to pick needs over wants, allowing us to know something in life will have to pick our responsibility items like toothpaste, house products, and couch over stuff like a pair of new shoes. It also teaches us how to save money. Let's pretend the new PlayStation came out, every kid on the block wants one. The only thing is you have a source that can help you save up for the PlayStation when they don't. True. I made that point because some kids can just get it. Their parents will just get the PlayStation for them. But if you're the type of kid that want to just do it on your own and your allowance, you can save up from when the day the new PlayStation come out, you have enough to get you the new PlayStation. That's my favorite point that I made. Chore money can help with math. Okay, we already talked about the fact that it can help you save, but the deeper catch is that it can help you learn common math skills. Example, $8 times what get you 64. See, you know how much money you will receive in a total item, but not knowing how many days, weeks, and months it'll take. That's where you'll learn variables. It also teaches you common addition skills for those who gets paid for doing different prices for doing different chores. Let's say you have $50 for mowing the yard, 20 for washing the car, and 10 for taking the trash out. But your goal is 100. Well, now you have to figure out how much money you will make altogether and subtract it in by 100. I made this point because saving money, learning money can help kids learn how to count, add, subtract, just by doing it with money. Things to buy with chore money. It's a lot of things that you can buy with chore allowance for doing chores. Toothpaste, deodorant for girls. Most girls like to have braids, braiding hair if you can do your own hair. clothes, shoes, anything for boys, toys, anything, like anything, it's your chore money. So it helps. Whatever you want, you get. My conclusion slide: with chore money, so many things can be accomplished. The main reason for getting money for chores is the feeling when you have your own. That's that's basically, I'm basically saying that's teaching you to be on your own, not depending on mom and dad to always give you money and stuff like that. You're going to be an independent person and start doing it on your own. It's not fun not having your own money at all. It's definitely not fun. I was young when I was younger. I used to hate not having my own money, having to wait on my mom to give me money. I used to hate it because, say my friends want to go to the movies and I don't have like enough money to go to the movies, I'll be mad because my mom won't give me no money to go to the movies. So now I have to miss out on this date. So I advise to just like start, parents should start giving allowance so kids can be able to do what they want, hang out with their friends, anything that they want to do. You can get so many items with your money, many different shoes, clothes, and like even hygiene products. I'm big on saying hygiene products because that's the main thing you should want to keep up to date. Like keep hygiene products before you buy anything else. It also teaches you how to learn your basic math skills, such as learning variables, addition, and subtraction. Yes, I like to make that point about the math skills because that's really a good point that I came up with and made. Cause yeah.
I'm not sure what happened to your conclusion, but I can say that up until that point, and I don't know if you lost your place or what happened to your slides, you come across as a speaker, as personable and likable, as authentic, as conversational, and someone who's really making a conscious effort to be persuasive all the way through. As many of you know, I enjoy putting on closed captioning, muting the audio, and checking the complete sentence structure. So now let's watch roughly the first minute or so of her presentation and notice three different things: the quality of her storytelling ability through her visuals, how she is expressing herself to the camera, and is she looking for the most part with her eyes looking in the direction of the webcam, and then down at the bottom checking the closed captioning for complete sentence structure. Again, a little bit over a minute, and then we'll pick up the audio with about a minute to go. Do not call it a PowerPoint. It is a speech. Technically, you're doing PowerPoint or Google Slides, but don't ever say that during a graded presentation. We know what it is. You're going to be persuading the audience about a topic. You're not talking about a PowerPoint. Friendly piece of advice as you're preparing for the wild card. Notice the personal stories are coming in early on. I really like the design consistency of the slides. You can tell she put a lot of time and effort into the bullet points, into what we see for the headlines, because the structure is going to vary depending upon the person. What is going to keep your eye contact? What is going to keep you with a relatively smooth delivery? And as you can tell, the closed captioning is moving along pretty quickly. She's got a nice, smooth pacing to her overall style, but there are some elements that you need to work on. I heard I heard some dropped G's, I heard gonna, and I heard like. The biggest thing that you can do whenever you're watching this back for your wild card speech this week, make certain that when you get to any G sound, you are finishing it off. That's going to just be second nature as time goes on, but always make certain for you in particular that you eliminate or significantly lessen the amount of dropped G's that you have. That being said, there obviously is a lot of improvement with your overall style. Let's get to roughly the last minute or so. Let's pick up the audio and listen to the last minute of her presentation with closed captioning on.
Say my friends want to go to the movies and I don't have like enough money to go to the movies. I'll be mad because my mom won't give me no money to go to the movies. So now I have to miss out on this date. So I advise to just like parents should start giving allowance so kids can be able to do what they want, hang out with their friends, anything that they want to do. You can get so many items with your money, many different shoes, clothes, and like even hygiene products. I'm big on saying hygiene products because that's the main thing you should want to keep up to date. Like keep hygiene products before you buy anything else. It also teaches you how to learn your basic math skills, such as learning variables, addition, and subtraction. Yes, I like to make that point about the math skills because that's really a good point that I came up with and made. Cause yeah.
And I'm not sure what happened there at the end, but let me just go back a little bit to where there's text on the screen. In that last minute, when I turned the audio up, I heard given, like twice, came up on the screen in the closed captioning twice, and wanna. All of those issues are eminently correctable. Again, notice, Henri, I did not say errors. They are issues that can easily be cleaned up. You've got the potential to be an excellent public speaker. Let's just focus on the positive for the time being. Nice job with the slides. I wouldn't call it a conclusion slide. I would just say conclusion, not slide. But you're looking at the camera. You've got a likable, authentic style. And all of that, going back to your title slide, matters. Now we're going to come back to me. Your grade, as well as everyone else's, will be available on Blackboard shortly. Tomorrow, we're going to be doing more of a deep dive into the wildcard speech under topic selection. We'll also be examining the self-evaluation speech critique, what you would want to do, and what others have written in the past. Before we wrap up the proceedings for today, however, I want to remind you of a couple of extra places where you can find research. I've done this before, but it bears repeating. My website will be first. This link is available not only, as you saw at the beginning of class today, at the instructor information area of Blackboard in the student preview mode, but it is also available at page 3 of the syllabus. So when you continue to scroll down, that visage seems to change day by day. But just keep in mind, when you scroll to the bottom, or almost to the bottom, for SPCH 1113, Introduction to Public Speaking, stop, and you're going to find a lot of the information for research purposes. In this window, eventually we will get down to persuasive speech, outlines, audio, and video, which we'll be focusing on tomorrow, starting with animal abuse. That was persuasive. And beyond that, down to the wild card, those materials for wild card outlines, audio, and video begin with asexuality, right after a presentation from Finley that we saw last week. All of this material, in addition to the course videos going back to late May, and today's video will be listed as, I believe, video P on the website, because this is 16 out of 19 course videos when we count today. So keep that in mind, data which you can find at my website, and my Twitter feed is going to be next. We will pop that up on the screen. This is an optional tool. It's also at my syllabus with a link. Under the hashtag of this course, I sent this out at the end of class on Thursday with all of the videos that we had done. Actually, that's June 10th. Let me put it under latest. Let me repeat. There's the Twitter feed. Find the hashtag for the course. I got ahead of myself. Click on latest. Now, this was the most recent tweet that I sent out after class on Thursday. That's a screenshot from my Google Drive, not my website. But those are all of the videos, including video O from Thursday, that you can access from my website, which I just showed you. All of your graded speeches are included on all of these videos. You're my content creators. That's how you learn from watching your classmates and cohorts from years gone by. That's what the tweet looks like, with today being, as I mentioned a moment ago, session 16. So that is my Twitter feed. And next, we are going to return to the student preview mode on Blackboard for our final bit of interactivity. At this location, always remember, and I show these to you all the time, but I do feel that with an online course, it bears repeating. Tools, grades, which you can also get from this location. But if you return to tools at Ultra, not only can you see the courses for this week, including today, in real time, we're at 152, no more of the late night stuff, which was necessary last week. And then the recordings. Everything that we have done, with today being posted relatively soon. Let's return to the itinerary, what is coming up for tomorrow. And it is going to be right here. We'll do it that way. Wildcard speech topic selection for June 21st. And as we conclude today's class session, I wanted to show you representative examples from the last 6 times I have taught the class: spring, first summer, fall semester, and fall intersession of 2020, and spring and first summer session of 2021, because all of the students that you saw today earned an A in this class, but it didn't come cheap. All of the work that they did with content, with delivery, with visuals, with looking comfortable on camera, that is the result of quality research, quality practice, watching the videos to try to improve as a public speaker. No one's grade in here is cast in stone. If I give you constructive criticism, it's a good idea to act upon it. Like I said, when we were just looking at our most recent persuasive speech, I don't view them as errors. I view them as issues that can be corrected. It's easy to formulate the G on the end of a word once you watch the video and think, oh my gosh, I need to make sure that I am fully enunciating and making sure that I finish that up. And then the other parts of working the camera in an ethical way, and then making certain that whether it's bullet points with text or images with graphics or videos in a couple of cases that you saw today that can be incorporated into your presentations, that it is in the wheelhouse of your level of comfort as a public speaker. That's what I'm looking for. Nothing would make me happier than to have all of you earn high grades, which is why I show you examples of individuals who were exactly in the same position you were. And notice with all of our presenters today, with the wild cards, their level of comfort, their level of ease, knowledgeability, professionalism, poise, authenticity, all of that matters. And that's what I'm going to be looking at from all of you on Wednesday and Thursday for the final 2 days of the term, Wildcard Speech Day 1 and Wildcard Speech Day 2. So we will take some time tomorrow to look at more presentations, some of them on my website, some of them that were recorded on YouTube, not uploaded by Loom to my YouTube channel, but something that was recorded on and submitted to YouTube, originally recorded on their cell phones. But the self-evaluation speech critique is a big part of your overall improvement in this course. How do you honestly view your own perception as a speaker? How are you improving? And it won't be perfect. In the same way that I, as a professor, will look at something that I've done in here during these 19 class sessions and cringe. But that's how I learn. And that's how you can learn as well. Having what I often call that nanosecond tape delay between your brain and your tongue. And if you hit a dead spot, you pause. Pause, look at your notes, and then look at the webcam. It seems like an eternity to you, but in real time, it actually shows that you're thinking and reacting. And that's the key to being a quality, conversational, extemporaneous, professional public speaker. We will continue in 24 hours with wildcard speech, topic selection. Start thinking about what you want to have for that final topic, because it is your last opportunity to make a positive impression on your classmates and your professor. As for SPCH 1113, Introduction to Public Speaking, during the first summer session of 2022, that concludes the recording session for today.